Hi, and welcome to the new series of Food for Thought for 2017 on Natural Health Radio. So, who am I starting my new year with? I'm starting my new year with Naima Nouidjem, who's an internationally known spiritual teacher, healer and master coach. She's developed the Power Coaching Formula, which is a cutting-edge program to activate and unfold healing and power coaching abilities, connection with spirit, and a powerful platform to transform your inner game and manifest prosperity in your life. Wouldn't we all like a bit of prosperity in our life? So her connection with spirit of the highest light, such as archangels, ascended masters and guides of the highest light, is the base of her healing and teaching work. The divine presence assists Naima's work can be seen and felt by her clients and students, and her unique ability in connection with spirit enables her to give activations, attunements and empowerments that have transformed people's lives quickly in the most tangible ways. Hi Naima, how are you today?
I'm fabulous. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you, Debbie. It's a privilege to be here.
You're really welcome. It was really interesting when I got the email from you when you asked, could you come on and do an activation? And I went to have a look at what you were doing out of curiosity. And you actually want to do one of those activations before we really start. So you want to call in the divine presence so that we can receive healing whilst we listen. So Naima, I'll hand it over to you for the start of this to do that, and then I'll carry on with the interview.
Okay, that's fantastic. So before I go into calling the divine presence, there's a few things I would like to say. It's like we all have different ways to connect with spirit or to experience the divine presence. Some people are clairsentient, it's when you feel spirit. Some people are clairaudient, it's when you hear the divine presence. Some people are clairvoyant, it's when you have that sense of maybe you can see aura, maybe you can just see spirit. And then some people are just clair knowing. Is like you don't see, you don't hear, you don't feel, but you just know. And the reason why I'm explaining that is that people listening to this show will experience the divine presence in different ways that will be proper to their own ability, to their own capacity. So having said that, I also want to say that it's best to listen to this show if you are driving or if you are doing things that need your full attention. Know that the healing and the energy work will happen when you are in a place where you are resting, where you don't need to be fully present to your 3D life, basically. And if you're not working, driving, or taking care of vulnerable people, just close your eyes and enjoy the process. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I am going to call the divine presence. And just listen to my words. I use symbols and words, sacred words, to do my work. So if you can, go with your eyes looking up, closing your eyes. That is called being in theta. And just take a couple of deep breaths. And have your spine, if you can, being fully straight to really experience the divine presence coming from you. So in the name of God and all that is holy, I am calling all archangels, all ascended masters, and all guides of the highest and the purest light, willing to assist me and all the listeners listening to this show, now and later. In the name of God and all that is holy, I am calling all archangels, all ascended masters, and all guides of the highest and the purest light, willing to assist me and the listeners and listening to this show now and later. In the name of God and all that is holy, I am calling all archangels, all ascended masters, and all guides of the highest and the purest light, willing to assist me and all the listeners listening to this show now and later. It is done, it is done, it is done. Show me. So Debbie and all the listeners, just be aware of what you might experience, what you might see, what you might feel. Just let it happen. Okay. So the divine presence is here. So as I said, some people will feel, see, hear, or just know. So many people, it's very common to just like feel, have the goosebump feeling, or just feel energy around them, or have the heart warming up. Are you with me, Debbie?
I am indeed. I'm just experiencing that, which isn't very good radio, I'll be absolutely honest, because I've gone completely quiet, because I can experience that. When you said it was goosebumps, I suppose I've kind of got that experience happening across my body.
But the thing is, the radio shows are not based on what we hear. They are based on what we feel listening to the radio show. So I believe it's going to be an out of the ordinary, extraordinary experience. So that's fantastic. Listen, I want to talk a bit, and then I'll go into the activation, if that's okay with you. So go ahead with your questions, if you can.
So I asked you to be the first guest on my show for 2017 because when you contacted me and offered to do this, as I said, I went to read your profile and it piqued my interest because you'd moved from a corporate job, being an executive in a charity, where you say in one of your videos you were earning very good money, but you weren't very happy, to working with these angels and this activation and this energy. It's an incredibly unusual transition that not everyone makes. And I wanted to really, for you to talk to those people who are thinking about making a similar transition because it's calling to them into the healing arts. I want them to really hear your story about your transition and your success and what happened to make you first change careers, but also know that this was the right move to make.
Right. So, I mean, first of all, thank you. Thank you so much for appreciating my story and you are honoring me with your words, and I can really feel it, and I thank you for that. And I mean, to put it in a few words, I traveled a lot as a young person, and I had quite a traumatic childhood, I could say. I can say that through my childhood, I experienced nearly everything in terms of abuse experiences, children home, abuse of all sorts, and what kept me going was that faith, that unbreakable faith in myself and God, that whatever I was experiencing, even if it was painful, it was traumatic, there was something better for me to experience. And so I moved through life until I reached England, which I absolutely love. I love England. And I arrived in England, I was about 30-something, and I entered the corporate world. So I started as a market researcher, and I moved the ladder, and I became a business manager, and then I moved in the public sector, where I didn't do well, because obviously I don't have what it takes to be a public to work in the public sector. I'm not submitted enough, I'd say. And then I moved into the charity sector, where I was the director of a charity, and where I became the director of a charity. And it was an amazing experience. Those 14 years in England really made me an incredible professional, I can say. Yet what was missing was it's like I was gaining skills, but I was not really doing what I was meant to be doing in this lifetime for humanity. And I knew it deep down. So when it was time to renew my contract as a director of a charity, I just said no, sorry, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take time for me. I didn't know at that time what I was doing, really. I just said, I need time for me. So I said no to money. I said no to stress. I said no to prestige, power, recognition. And I went within, and within a month, someone lent me a book, which was the 7 laws of spiritual success. No, the 7 spiritual law of success from Deepak Chopra. Mm-hmm. And then I read that book, and then I thought, oh my God, my life is making sense. And then I discovered other spiritual teachers like Caroline Myss, Louise Hay, Judith Orloff, and I mean the list is never ending. And but what really was life changing for me was when I went to a friend of mine invited me to a psychic surgery, and I was kind of, oh God, where am I going? No, psychic surgery. What the heck are we talking about? Anyway, I went and I said to my friend, I'm very busy. If it doesn't bring anything to me, I'll leave. So I'm going to sit at the back so that nobody would be offended if I leave. And she was kind of, oh God, here she comes again. So Naima, the one who knows everything. So anyway, I went to that psychic surgery as an observer. And when they started the work, they had a table in a space where everyone could see the table. And there was a woman who volunteered. And those two psychic surgeons, they just put each other at the end of the table and they started to do the work, which was to raise their hands, look at the person and stay still. And for the love of God, it was like the person received what she received, but what I received, it was like the hand of God came to me and pushed me. I was going backward with my chair. There was still a line of people behind me. The person behind me was holding my chair, thinking I was falling on her. Virtually, the front feet of the chair just lifted themselves up with my 60-kilo body on it, and I was going backward. That was mind-blowing. I virtually, every time I talk about it, I feel like the hand of God pushed me to show me what was energy healing, really. And after that, I went into Reiki, Theta healing, reconnective healing, and then I started to give activation to people. It's like people I trained as well as a coach, and people were coming to me for healing and coaching, but yet they were asking me to activate this ability and this ability. And what I did is that I just, it's like when someone pushes you in the pool and you just have to swim. So that's what I started to do. And then I started to see the result because people were calling me saying, you know what, this is really happening. And you really changed. What the work I did with you really transformed me. And some people say that when they take session with me, it's like, more the Latin people, they say that it's like opening the water for them. And I am aware that the healer and the coach, I don't really do the work. I offer the container for people to do the work. And that's why people experience so many changes, positive changes in their life. Yeah. So in essence, what I did is I courageously moved from my comfort zone to the unknown. And honestly, it has not been easy because, there's that financial aspect that we must not ignore when we take risk. And I can understand why people are in the corporate world. Maybe they're not happy and they think, actually, you know what, I can't take that risk because financially it's been quite a challenge for me. And that's where I created the Power Coaching Formula, where people can train to become healer and coach and do the inner work and unfold their connection with spirit without letting go of the financial security.
Because I do think that is a key fear for many people who are changing to this profession, that you may want to follow your highest purpose that you feel is important, but actually financially many people don't make that leap of faith as you've done and as I did, because actually they do not feel that they're going to actually get the financial reward or be able to carry it for long enough to be able to get it off the ground.
I am completely with you on that one. And the other thing that I say to my student and client is that you don't need to be doing what Naima is doing, which is working full-time as a coach and a healer and a master coach and a spiritual teacher. You can just continue what you are doing. I've got clients and students who work in the financial sector. They are teachers in secondary school or primary school. And what they do is that they integrate the healing aspect and the coaching aspect into their professional life, and they start to really have a bigger impact on humanity.
I agree with you with that. I'm meeting more people now who are running two professions side by side and are often doing Reiki, or they're doing other spiritual forms of healing alongside their corporate job now. And it's giving them the balance that they actually need.
Absolutely. And, you know, we live in a time where what I teach to my students is healing is not something that we do. Just by being, we heal people. You know, it's like healing. This is one of the most important aspects of what I teach and what I give to people who come to me. Is like, it's a state of being. It's not a state of doing. It's you know, a lot of people react to what I say. They're shocked because they say, well, yeah, but then there must be a technique. But there's no technique to healing. It's just be, put your intention, open your arms, have your eyes and your hands towards the person, or if the person is not in front of you, just hold the person in your heart or in your intention, and the healing is happening. So it's, you know, going back to that quantum leap, it's like, people believe that a lot of people might believe that they need to let go of what they have to become the highest version of themselves. But they don't. They don't. They just need to let go of what's limiting them to become the highest version of themselves.
And that's a completely different perspective on that view of what am I leaving behind, and in effect leaving that fear behind, because it's turning it on its head, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you know, fear, we all know what fear means: false evidence appearing real. So you know, it's like Neil Donald Walsh brought that to me in his teaching, and fear is natural. What is not natural is drowning into fear, or as I say, drowning in a cup of tea called fear. and you know, it's like we're so good at that. And I myself as well, sometimes I catch myself into that cup of tea basically, and then I breathe and I take the eagle perspective. And you know, like the strategic vision, I focus on the vision, and then the fear disappears. You know, it's like if I could share what would be the eagle perspective. Okay, I'm a corporate client. I'm a corporate manager. I work in the private sector. I work for a big consultancy company, and I've got the security. I've got the stress as well. I've got the office politics, and I've got that deep sense of there's more to life, but I don't want to let go of the financial security. Well, if I were to take the eagle position, the strategic vision, I would stop and I would say, what is missing in my life? And I would use my non-dominant hand to answer this question. The non-dominant hand being, if I write with my right hand, I'd write it with my left hand. The left hand is connected to the subconscious, to the soul, to the highest aspect of ourselves, and it never lies. You know, if you really take a piece of paper and write down with your right hand, what do I really want from life? And you answer with your left hand, I doubt you're going to find words like money, sex, losing weight, or things like this. What would probably come out is peace, love, connection, power, balance. You know, those state of being that we're all seeking, basically, or that we are all born with when we're born, basically, when we arrive on this earth. So taking this eagle perspective would be to write down with the left hand what is it what's missing in my life, or what is it that I really want, and then find ways to reach what my left hand has shown me, basically. That would be the eagle perspective. Now, the operational perspective would be to believe that to be happy, what's missing in my life is more money, or I don't know, a new car, a new fridge, a smaller mortgage, or those 3D physical assets that really worry us when we supposedly don't have them.
Find you don't need them anymore.
And the thing is, money, the physical things. I love, I'm a Leo by astrologically I'm a Leo. So I like good things. I like luxury, but not in excess. For me, luxury is not a lot of things. For me, it's a lot of space. I can live in, the last house that I was living in before my boy went to the football university, it was a 3-bedroom house. It was huge, but we had very little furniture. Mm. And the people would come in, and the clients, and would say, don't you need more furniture? And it's gone, no, I don't need the furniture, I need the space. Mm-hmm. So it's really about understanding what is important to us as human beings to really find that space of power, freedom, and balance, which are the 3 things that all human being is seeking in this life.
And we very much lost them and we can see that we've very much lost that balance because of how many mental health issues there are now happening in our society in a variety of different ways. And I believe it's because people are not living their purpose, they're not living their highest vision, they're not following truly what's in their heart, they're following what society thinks they need to follow, and which is very, as you say, it's very filled with things that we often don't need. It's pressurised to keep purchasing and keep consuming in ways that actually we don't need. And I think it's created mental imbalance.
Absolutely. There's also an aspect that it's a little bit controversial, so please accept my apologies if I'm pushing the boundaries here. But I also believe that mental health and addiction can also be present in someone's life because of the aura of the person being affected by very low density beings or very low density energies, basically. In my work, I have seen people coming completely messed up in level of addiction that has destroyed family, friends, career, and life, basically. And people receiving the clearing of their energy field. And it's like what is lifted from their energy field is creating the space for them to really heal their addiction or to really realign themselves physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And the mental health problem just disappear.
It's really interesting, isn't it? Because I think the addictions in many respects, and I'm more focused on things like social media and the consumption, are the fear of what other people might think of you. And I think that's become hugely pressurising. And I think in organisations, we've put in place performance of people, and actually that's meaning that they're constantly being observed. We've got testing constantly in childhood with exams, and therefore we have a constant fear going on around what others think and not achieving to their standards rather than your own, and creating the life that you want rather than what is now dictated by a series of standards of other people.
Yeah. Yet at the same time, we are in a free will zone, and we can decide. I believe that more and more people are becoming like spiritually independent. Yes, they want to fit in society, but at the same time, they dare to be themselves. It's like. It's like if I compare the type of coaching that I do, that I give to people, and the coaching that is available, the mainstream coaching, most coaching courses where you go, when I ask students of those courses, I say, so what is a coach? They say, well, we are a guide, we accompany people, and etc. And my vision, my understanding of coaching as I train clients in 60 hours is that a coach is someone that empowers his clients to do what they resist doing to get them where they want to be.
Yeah.
You know, and we're not putting around with the client. We empower the client, and that might mean shaking the client a little bit energetically so that they take the steps. We empower people to do what they resist doing to get them where they want to be. This is, for me, coaching. And that is why people experience such drastic, tangible, positive results in what I offer, because there's no faffing about it. It's like, and also what I've done when I started my practice, to go back to what you were, to your asking of how did I become what I became, what I am. It's like, at the beginning, when I started to do healing, I use a pendulum as well. I've integrated a lot of techniques into my service. And at the beginning, I started to work with everyone. Anyone who would pay me, I'd say, okay, come for a session. And then I realized, actually, that's not what I want to do. I don't want to work with X or anyone and take their money and pat them and say, yeah, it's okay, come for another session. I want results. So I said to God, to Spirit, just send me people who are willing and ready to remember their power. So God said, what does that mean? And I said, well, it means that they are willing to release what no longer serves them, unfold their spiritual gift, and embrace their life purpose. I don't want to work with people who are not willing and ready to do that. So my business went quiet for 3 weeks, but quiet, like not a call. And I was kind of, oh my God, what have I done? And I was, Spirit was telling me, just be patient. Just, it's like there was like an adjustment energetically. And then people started to call, and then I started to see the result in people that I wanted to see. And, like I say to my clients, not everyone comes to me. People hear from me. They either call me straight away because something in my words makes them either cry, or they have that butterfly or goosebump feeling, and they know I need to talk to her. It's like remembering a sacred contract that we have. Or people take their time. I've had someone who waited 18 months to contact me. She did 5 sessions. And after that, she lost 35 kilos in 5 months.
And in many respects, what you're telling me is that you had faith and you had clarity in what you actually wanted. So when you left, you allowed the time scale to allow the thinking and understanding of what I want from this change that I'm going to make from my career change.
Absolutely. So people who are thinking about making a career change, okay, is that okay to give my perspective on it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So the first thing is that I would say, don't do what I did. Don't take a financial risk, because it's not worth it. Because the financial pressure put me in a space where I didn't need to be. And what I've done, what I've reflected on, because that was like in 2009 when I took that quantum leap. What I've done is that I've understood that my way of working is that I put myself under pressure, so I will do the things. But there's less arduous ways of taking that quantum leap. So take the route that is without or with minimal risks financially. There's no need to put yourself under pressure.
If someone's stuck, Naima, so they're really stuck, they know they want to change, they know something in their heart of hearts isn't right, what sort of process would you suggest to help them move through to finding what is right, or at least moving them forward into a different perspective?
Okay, so the thing about being stuck is that when we are stuck, it's because there's a huge energy shift happening within ourselves, and the person just needs a little bit of help. So what I'd say, if you are stuck, well, contact me or contact someone you might have worked with. Contact a coach that will offer you 3 to 5 sessions maximum to clear what's holding you back. The first thing is you can't move forward until you have cleared the boat. It's like, imagine that a human being is a boat. You need to empty the vessel of what the vessel doesn't need anymore, so that you can see the treasure chest that you are holding into that boat. So the first thing is to release what's holding you back. And for that, you need to go to a therapist or someone who can really empower you. I mean, the way I work is that people take 3 sessions with me. And for 3 sessions, through the 3 sessions, we clear stuff that people don't even know they are holding in their energy field or in their physical body. Our biology is our biography. Every trauma, every event, everything that we've lived, we've experienced as children, teenager, and young adult, we hold it in our physical body. There's a blueprint, and that's what needs to be cleared. Once a person is cleared, there's that sense of lightness, of everything is possible. And again, I take the person back to write down with her non-dominant hand what they really, really want from life. And then action it. Now, a lot of people go to energy healing and they're doing good or they're doing okay, but it's not complete. A lot of people are into coaching and they're doing okay, but it's not complete. And most of healers and coaches, they're trained into healing or coaching, but they haven't done the inner work. And that is what's holding back a lot of healers and a lot of coaches. I have a lot of students, clients who come to me. They've spent $10,000 in a coaching program and 2 years in that coaching program, and yet they're still not practicing. Why? Because they haven't done the inner work to release to release the limiting beliefs, basically. So that people are taught techniques. People add stuff onto them, but there's no space within them to integrate the learning. We need to clear the boat. You need to empty the vessel so that you can fill it up with new knowledge, new information, and most importantly, identify the gems that you have within and start using them. And that is what the power coaching is about. That's, it's like that baby of mine is, it's like, I have people who work in TV, in finance, teachers, and everyone gets, that sense of knowing your place in the world, knowing that you are doing what you are meant to be doing in this lifetime. And having that strong sense of being fully aligned, physically, emotionally, spiritually, intellectually. This is priceless, really. And without through my program or another program, it can be achieved by humanity.
Before I finish this interview with you, Naima, I want to just understand. I noticed that you carried out work with the primary school on your website, and they gave you an amazing testimonial. Can you tell us more about the work that you did with these primary school children?
Well, the thing is, with children, that's where I love the work that I do, because parents bring me their kids. Parents bring me their children, whether they're 5 years old, 8 years old, or 15 years old. And they often bring children to me when children are in crisis. And I love helping those children, yet I also believe in preventative work by raising awareness with children. So when I do workshop in schools, and to be fair, at the moment I don't really have the time to do it, but when I used to do it, it was like raising awareness with children, getting them to use their sixth sense, which can be being clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, or clair-knowing, and getting them to connect with the divine presence in a very innocent way, and getting them to unfold their healing skills through their hands. So getting them to feel the energy of healing through their hands. The kids love it. There's no question, no, how do I do it, and etc. I just activate their hands, and then they feel it, and they play with the energy, and they love it. I've been teaching them how to bring the Kundalini energy up their spine, and kids do it in 2 hours. They do in 2 hours what someone would get in 10 years of Kundalini yoga 5 times a week. That's what children are great to work with. That's why they're great to work with. They just do, they absorb everything, and then they use it without question, just having fun.
Fantastic. Naima, this has been a really interesting interview and experience, I have to say. How do people get in contact with you? How do they find out about you?
Okay, there's a website called rememberyourpower.com where they can take sessions with me. They find information about the Power Coaching Formula course. I'm coming to England. I think it's 7 times this year, and if they go on rememberyourpower.com, there they can find out about me.
Perfect.
Outside of that, I've got a course starting beginning of February and then mid-March, and people who come through your radio, they can get a discount if they are interested.
Yeah. That's very good of you. I'll put the link on the actual blog page as always, and I'll put also the link to the 7 spiritual laws of success that Naima talked about earlier in the interview. Perfect. Thank you very, very much, Naima. This has been a really interesting experience and a great interview.
Thank you. And can I say, if there is space, you can edit that bit. If there is space, I would love to become a host in your show. It would be my privilege to give healing and coaching live, if that's something that you guys do, or to have it programmed. Right. I've decided to give 10% of my time to humanity free of charge, to really help those who can't pay for their personal development because of financial struggle. So it would be a privilege to be of service.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to turn off the recording equipment, say thank you very much to you, and then we'll talk about that.
Privilege. Thank you so much.